Mughals, Mongols, I'm not sure what's going on, but what I do know is it's top 10 messed up events from the Mughal Empire. Number 10, unproud history. Blame it on my Canadian education, dyslexia, or me just being an idiot, but it took me 3 times to read over properly Mughal instead of Mongol. Mughal, Mongol, Mughal, Mongol. It also took me a second to realize that I'm talking about India, not Mongolia. It's okay, folks. I'm just gonna drink some water and touch some grass. I'll be okay. Yes, the Mughal Empire. As it turns out, my confusion is semi-appropriate, as the Mughals were descendants of the mighty Genghis Khan, hence the Mongols. Makes a lot of sense now that you think about it. Turkic Mongols, to be exact. The Mughals were well aware of the Mongols' reputation and their history. Let's just say they weren't too proud of it. You can't blame them. However, they were more proud of their Timur-sided heritage. Honestly, like I said, you can't blame them. It's kind of like your dad's side of the family, you know? They're okay, but everyone likes mom's side better. That's just how it goes. Number 9, Might of Ahoms. The Galactic Empire, the NCR, and the Mughals. What do all these large organized militaries share in common? They can all be defeated by a bunch of scruffy looking ragtags who spend too much time on mentats and in their X-Wings. All sci-fi jokes aside, the Ahoms were a tribal people who happened to live in the wrong neighborhood per se. Thing is, these guys had some serious grit, as in when dueling against the mighty Mughal Empire, they were not victorious once, twice, or 3 times, but a total of 17 times. 17, that's a lot. At a certain point, you gotta respect a group for kicking your butt that many times. At some point, you just gotta throw in the towel and say, hey, let them keep the land. They can have it. It's theirs. I don't need it. I don't want it. Number 8, smoke. Love it or hate it, smoking has been a part of life for a long time. Longer than you might think, actually. No, not the age of Marlboro cowboys and ads later telling you not to. No, hacking a dart of the past was a little bit different than getting mad at the Leafs when they're losing and you're having a break outside. Interesting enough, however, it's speculated that the hookah, or the shisha, was invented by one of the emperor's top doctors of the time. Naturally, this was something saved for the elite because, well, you can't have peasantry damaging their lungs, come on. They might need those bad boys after all, with all the work they do and stuff. Number 7, science and big booms. We've come a very long way in history, some might say too far. We've got cars, computers, and depending on who you ask, we've been to the moon. I say we have. It just makes sense. Come on, guys. I mean, come on. Obviously we have, because the moon is made of cheese, and that's where we get cheese, right? That's what my mom said. We eat cheese from there, right? Well, there certainly was no rocket ships back then, but the scientific advancement is what is to note here. The Mughal Empire was a big contributor of the Islamic scientific revolution, as there were many contributions in math, algebra, and other useful inventions. They were one of the first to use black powder. What does that mean? Besides fireworks, it means blam blams. And if you know history or anything about the time period, you know how important blam blams are. Part of the black powder empires, as they're called. Number 6, Taj Mahal. Husbands and wives. Marriage. Beautiful marriage. The whole sanctimony that brings lovers together. Now, I'm sure all of our viewers at home will agree in saying marriage was the best thing they ever did, and absolutely not a training experience after 15 years. Right, guys? Shah Jahan would agree with that, the mighty emperor who went great lengths for his beloved wife. Now, I'm sure you know this story, but in case you don't, this was the man that was so heartbroken from his wife's passing, so distraught, that he built the Taj Mahal. That's like your partner at home saying, you know what, babe, I love you so much. Bam, there's the Empire State Building. There it is, look at it. That's for you. The Taj Mahal is the crown jewel of Mughal architecture, and at the time cost around $1 billion with our inflation. Every year, the Taj Mahal brings thousands of tourists to witness its ivory beauty. It is a beautiful building, can't lie about that, but $1 billion? Man, you must have loved that woman. Must have loved her. Goddamn. Number 5, the Queen of India. So this massive and powerful empire, why is it not around anymore? I mean, in reality, we just don't do the whole empire thing anymore, unless you're Heisenberg, because he's in the empire business. But what's the main reason why they're not around anymore? Do you hear that? It's the Queen's Navy coming to shore, and the boats are chock full of redcoats. Look out, India, they're coming for your tea. Unfortunately for those living in India and the Mughal Empire at the time, this was sort of like the beginning of the end, as some years later, India would be brutally forced into one of the many colonies of the British Commonwealth. And yeah, did I mention brutal? Because it was pretty brutal. It wasn't the nicest of occupations. The British ruled over for many, many years until a certain peace-loving Gandhi came years later and set the record straight. Number 4, relatable. King Akbar of the Mughal Empire was a very notable leader, but today I'm talking about him for some other reasons. One that I can relate to personally. No, I'm not a secret king and have a palace of my own full of servants, although, I mean, if you guys want to make me king, I wouldn't say no. It's well noted that Akbar was illiterate, which for royalty was rare back then, since that's usually the only people who can read or are allowed to read. Can't have the peasantry being too smart now, can't have that. However, some historians suggest that his literacy isn't to blame for a lack of trying, but it's dyslexia. Yeah, that's right. It's the same reason why I hated reading as a kid, and in high school, sorry English teachers, you can just Google Cliff Notes, it's the future. Akbar, however, did not have Cliff Notes. He had the option to hire artists to illustrate beautiful works of art in order to comprehend some things that needed visualization since he couldn't read. I did not possess such powers, however, still up to debate. You know, if you guys want to make me king, that's fine, I'm okay with it. Number 3, Colera Belts. Okay, this one is just too weird not to mention. So in the end of the Mughal Empire, there were lots of British around. That's kind of how the occupation goes, lots of red coats and whatnot. However, it wasn't exactly an easy job for the British either. Some folks just don't like being ruled over. I wouldn't. Interesting enough though, there was also a fair share of sicknesses going around. And when you think about it, I mean, you take a whole bunch of people, mix them in with another population of a bunch of people to a place they've never been before, added with it's not the most hygienic time in history, sprinkle a little hot weather, and yeah, people are probably gonna get sick. Cholera, to be exact. Cholera was a big one. So what's the solution? How do we cure this cholera? Is it hand washing, hygiene? So, you know, do we keep our distance? What do we do? Well, the answer was Colera Belts, and basically it's just a piece of red flannel fabric to wrap around your belly. That's how you cure cholera. At the time, cholera was thought to be caused by a chilly or cold belly, so warm up your belly, no more cholera. But in India, where it's really hot, and places like that around there in the Mughal Empire, it's kind of hot anyway, so I don't know why you need that. It doesn't really add up. Number 2, diamonds. The Kohinoor diamond was literally the crown jewel of the Mughal Empire. A jewel worth more than anyone could really handle for the time, and definitely today. It's too much for you, you don't want it, too much pressure. You can never sell it. It used to be encrusted upon the Mughal throne, but after some violent disagreements, it was stolen, and it passed hands, where it then went to someone else, in their hands. And after that, then someone else had it. And then somebody else had it. And then, like a trinket your grandma tries to give you, it probably sat in her basement for a very long time before then it ended up in the hands of oh blighty yourself, Queen Victoria. Who else? And either if you think that's fair or not, it's been a part of the British crown jewels ever since. Because they take stuff, that's what they do. Number 1, Anarkali. A classic tale of love and betrayal, and maybe it actually didn't happen. Historians aren't too sure about this one, but if it is true, oh baby, what a juicy story. Anarkali was a poor peasant, but worked her way up to becoming Akbar's wife. But she also tripped, fell, and landed in somebody else's bedroom, if you know what I mean. Naturally, Akbar was cheesed, so he did the next sensible thing and had her buried alive in the walls like Bowser did to the Toads in Mario 64. However, no amount of Power Stars could help us find out if she really even existed. The story of the forbidden love, however, has been retold countless times in Asian culture. I was going to go for a Count of Monte Cristo reference that was stuck in the walls, but I feel like you guys know Mario 64 better. Pop culture beats books, right? Who reads books? That's been another amazing video from Bumblebee. More top 10 history facts. Love it, baby. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe here at Bumblebee for more. And if you too like the Count of Monte Cristo like me, and that's the only book I maybe sort of read in high school, then check out my social somewhere down below. I'll make you laugh sometimes. Anyways, guys, I love you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Bye-bye. Stay sweet, my honeybees. Bye. I mean, come on. Obviously we have, because the moon is made of cheese, and that's what... Okay, and coming in the number 1 spot today, Anarkali. Anarkali.